So I've been trying to get this game to the table for quite some time. So I figured I'd do it now while I had some time. And the name of the game is Runecast. I just happened to have found it. I saw it was coming out and I was kind of curious about it, so I looked it up online and it looked like a pretty interesting game. And it's one of those games that I don't think people know too much about, but is a very, very, very good game. What happens is, and if you look at some of the stuff, I mean, it is absolutely, it's a very beautiful game. I mean, the boards are just so well done. The characters, I'll show you in a minute. Let me just push this light away so we don't get too much glare. And you can see this is a spearwoman. The art is just really, really nice on it. Now each character, I'm set up for a two-player game. This game's usually probably best anywhere from 2 to 4 players. What happens is you have to negotiate each one of these boards, and some of the boards are really, really vicious. Like you have, let's take a look here so I can show you real quick. And Loki seeks his vengeance because you're playing during Ragnarok. So the Binding of Fenrir. I mean, just look at some of that stuff. And then, of course, Sator. I mean, just some really, really, really nice art on these boards. And I believe there's one for Ragnarok. Oh, here it is. The End of All Times. And you got to try to beat that one, you know, to win the game. But you can mix it up and just play a couple, or you can play the whole thing at some point. But you have a character, and each one of them has 5 health. Okay, they have special abilities, but most of the special abilities that you can use at any time cost a health point. And you can never spend your last health point. Now, these tokens are death tokens. When you die, you can actually hand it in and come back into the game. And you have one community one that you can use also. This is a Loki deck, and if you notice, each one of these cards has a symbol. You randomly draw it, and if Loki's going to attack you in more than one player game, of course that's a bad card to show. Of course I'm showing every card that you shouldn't show. You would look at these numbers here, and if, as you can see, that matches this, so Loki on his turn would attack that person. If it didn't match, you would go to the next one and the next one. If none of them matched, then Loki didn't attack anyone. Now, if you had gotten that other symbol that I had showed you, of course at the completely wrong time, which I'm completely known to do, I believe if the rune says RRRR, Loki has outsmarted the heroes and all players suffer damage. Now, how does he damage? Very easy. I will show you. These cards won't come in play for this particular game that we're playing. At the beginning of each turn, because we're playing 2 players, you get to roll 12 dice. As such. The snakes rolled by a player means as such. Excuse me. They represent the world serpent. They are removed from the player's pool, and placed on the battle board. So they are left here. These become Loki's dice. Hammers mean hits, which means that's how many hits that this board takes. And the trees have a healing property. They represent Yggdrasil, the tree of life. The player may choose to heal 1 point by removing a die with a tree and placing it on their character's tile. This die is removed from the dice pool and will be returned at the end of the next turn. Players may heal a maximum of only 2 hit points per turn in this manner. So you could take 2 of these and put them aside. Now, as you can see, this would be pretty bad because there's no hits. You've got 2 hits, so you apply the 2 hits, and then your board goes. These dice go back onto the board. Then the next player would roll all 12 of his dice, and whatever outcome, that's what would happen. You would either move this down or heal, but of course nobody's hurt right now. And then if there were any snakes, they would be placed here. Now both players had gone. Now it is Loki's turn. Now because like I said, you would use this card to determine who would get the damage from Loki. In a 2-player game, it just alternates. First you start with this player 1, then you go to player 2, then to player 1, then back to player 2. And like I said, it becomes Loki's roll. Now, what happens with Loki is if he rolls a hammer, that causes a wound to the player. If he rolls a snake, that goes towards this special ability. And if you get 3 snakes on this particular board that he rolls, all players lose 1 die from their dice pool for the next round. So in the next round, you would lose 1 die. But if he rolled 3 trees, the fates chosen a player draw a fate card from the remaining cards and places it on top of their fate hand. So your fate is here. Now, these fate cards come into, you can, at the beginning of your turn, you can do a couple of things. You can draw a card, use a card, use a hero ability, or roll to attack. Those are the 3 actions that you can use. So, if you decide to do a fate card, you can get armor. Okay? And armor has different abilities. And these cubes here will measure how much it gets till it's exhausted. So what happens is, it could take this much damage, but can be exhausted twice, so it would refill. So if you're getting hit with a bunch of damage, these helms would help. They would absorb as much damage, but once that's filled, it gets turned sideways and exhausted, and has to miss. Cannot be activated till the next round. So if you absorb too much damage, and it's exhausted, you can only turn it and place a cube on there saying that you used it once, and as you can see, you can only exhaust it twice. Now there's also weapons in here. Okay? Every die you roll to attack is treated as a hammer. So this weapon, you can only use it 5 times. So every time you use it, once it's used, it's broken, and that's it. It's gone for the game. So there's different kinds of things that can happen here. But also in here, so you can only use the weapon 5 times, and you can only hold one weapon and 1 armor. Now, also in the Fate deck, there's some bad cards that will actually help Loki and cause bedlam to you, and that's not good. Each player is dealt out a certain number of cards depending upon how many players are playing. Let's get that in there. There we go. 2 players, 10 fate cards. 3 players, 8. Battle boards. For 2 players, we're only going to be playing with 4 boards, and I chose them randomly. Number of characters, 2. You get 12 dice. Sorry you can't see this that well, but there we go. So that's pretty much how you play this game. And like I said, I found it very, very interesting, and it's something right up my alley. It's from Charm City Games. Oh, they have a website, www.charmcitygames.com, and there are hyphens in between, spaces in between Charm City games. So, with all that said, why don't we try a couple turns here? This is a game by from CharmCityGames.com. Go to their website. I think you'll be really, really happy with this, and it seems to be a very fun game, and one that I suggest since it caught my eye. So we're going to go through a couple of turns here and see how it turns out. Now it's my first turn, and I'm going to use this guy here first. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to try one of those fate cards. So I can turn over a fate card, and I do, and I got a weapon. Reroll one tree result. So that's not a bad card to have. So we got a piece of weapon, an axe, which we're going to put up here. Now, if I turn over another weapon, I can only have one, so this one would get replaced and discard. And you only have 10 cards, so you got to choose them wisely. So the next thing I'm going to do is, am I going to use any of my abilities? Remove 2 dice from Loki's pool. No, I don't need to because he doesn't have any. So now I'm going to roll all 12 dice. So let's see what happens here. Hopefully, oh, he has no wounds. And wow, that was about as bad as it gets. Because Loki has a bunch of dice, and that is not cool. So, out of the 12 dice, he has 8. We have 2 trees and 2 hammers. Awesome. So, that takes 2 damage. So, we're going to put these aside here. And now, it's going to be up to Skolorn. Now, his ability is, if he uses a hit point, adds 1 die to the pool for each hit point spent. Cannot use last hit point. So he can add more dice to pool. Nope. I think what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do, okay, so he's got a hammer, re-roll any snake result. Re-roll 1 snake result. So we're going to keep that one. And we're going to put that right there so the camera can see it. And we're going to roll all of our dice. Alright. Let's see. Alright, let's see what happens. Hopefully we can do a lot better. Maybe we can just beat the board, because that would discard. No, we didn't do anything really. Alright, we got 3 of those, which aren't going to help us right now, but we did get 3 hammers. So that's 1, 2, 3. So that's 5. And that. So now Loki, it's coming up on Loki's turn, and he has, wow, 4, 8, 12, 13 dice to roll. So, of course, this is player 1, so let's see what happens. This is not going to be good. So we're going to roll all 13 dice, and we'll see if anything happens. Alright. Okay, so here's what does happen. He rolled enough to initiate that thing, his ability there, but also the boon gets to go. Now, if you rolled 6, even though this only needs 3, that doesn't mean you used the boon twice. You get to use it once. So let's figure everything out first. See, like we actually have more than enough to do it almost twice, but that's not going to help us. But here's what's going to happen. Our hero is going to take 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not cool. And let's see what happens with this here. And because it's activated, all players lose 1 dice from their dice pools next round. So automatically, we're going to put this right here. We're going to put that right there. We've lost 1 die. Now, the way it goes, especially on Loki's turn, you figure it out in order. First, you figure out the hammers. Okay, we did that. Then you figure out the snakes and then the trees and resolve any boons. The fate chosen player draws a fate card from the remaining cards, if any, and places it on top of their fate deck. Well, we know what was on the top here, so we're going to mix these up. So I actually get an extra fate card. Wow, whoopee. So I get to put that on top of my deck. Alright, so I'm down to 1 hit point, which isn't cool. And as you can see, quite a lot has happened. So all the dice get wiped away. So it's 4. We have to have 11 dice. 8, 11, and our buddy here gets 11. So we could pick a fate card for player 1. Now the only good thing that helps us is that next turn that he becomes the target. So I'm going to draw a fate card. Oh no, Troll's Blood. Regenerate 1 health per battle until death. Ooh. Discard this card upon death. Discard this card before dying to heal all party members to full health. Okay, so regenerate per battle until death. Okay, so I get to regenerate 1 health. That's good. So this is a special card. So I'm in battle, so now I'm going to regenerate 1 health, and I've got 11 dice. I drew my fate card. Do I want to use my ability? No, it's not going to help me because there are no dice in Loki's pool. Alright. And there we go. This is a little bit better. There are trees, which I'm going to use 2 trees to regenerate 2 health points. I've got 4 hammers and we've got 3 snakes. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 hammers. These are in Loki's pool. These go away. These go off to the side. And that would be that. So now it would be the next player's turn. And now he turned over a glaive, and you can only use this once. So it would remove all dice from Loki's pool. So if he gets a bunch of dice, we can use this glaive. So what we're going to do is this card actually gets discarded over here, and because it's a weapon, it replaces the other one. So now we're going to roll all these dice. Now hopefully all we need is 2 hammers, and we're not even going to have to use that glaive. There we go. We got the 3 hammers that we needed. Now Loki doesn't even get to roll his dice, and he would have had a good number of dice. But we got 5 hammers. That destroys that. This completely goes away. Everybody goes back to their full strength, and we defeated this first board, which means we would turn the board over, attack of the rock trolls, and we would begin to fight that. So I hope this explains things a bit, and if you have any questions about the game, please let me know. Do me a favor, check them out. They seem like good people, and I have really checked out what they've done, and you know, just a small little business trying to make some money on a very good game, and it has a great theme to it. If you could feel the theme, it plays very well. You know, hey, yeah, it's a lot of dice rolling, but you know, you get more people, you get less dice, and you really got to work together on a cooperative level and know when to use your abilities, when to use your fake cards, when not to use your fake cards, and trust me, things do go bad in it. So I hope you enjoyed this. This was Runecast, and I'll give this again: charm-city-games.com. I'll put it in the credits so you guys get to see it and support these guys. And if you have any questions, also you can tweet them. Tweet, right? Old guy like me saying tweet at CC Games LLC on Twitter. Info at charm-city-games.com. So if you have any suggestions. So there you go. Runecast. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.